Welcome back to our International Student Wellness podcast. Today's episode is about a situation many students experience: group projects. For many international students, group projects can be one of the most stressful parts of studying in the United States. It is not always because the work itself is not so difficult. Sometimes the hardest part is understanding what other group members expect. In US classrooms, group projects often require students to show initiatives, speak up early, share opinions, give feedback, and manage deadlines together. But students from different cultural backgrounds may have different ideas about what respectful teamwork looks like. For example, one student may think being professional means speaking directly and making quick decisions. Another student may think being respectful means listening first, avoiding interruption, and waiting until they are invited to share. One student may see silence as lack of effort. Another student may see silence as careful thinking. This is where cultural clash can happen. A student may not be lazy, careless, or uninterested. They may simply be communicating differently. One common misunderstanding is about initiative. In some classrooms, students are expected to volunteer ideas quickly and take ownership without being asked. But some international students may come from educational environments where the leader assigns tasks and speak too much before the group agrees can feel disrespectful. In a United States group project, however, waiting too long can be misunderstood as not contributing. Another misunderstanding is about feedback. Some students are comfortable saying, "This part does not work," or "We need to change this." Other students may feel that this sounds too harsh. They may often soften their opinion or stay quiet to avoid conflict. But if feedback is not shared early, the group may become frustrated later. So, what can students do? The first tool is to create a group contract at the beginning. This does not have to be formal. It can be a short list in Google Docs. The group should answer basic questions like who is doing each part, when is each part due, how will we communicate, how quickly should we reply to messages, what should we do if someone is confused or behind. This helps because many conflicts happen when expectations are assumed but never clearly stated. The second tool is a communication preference check. Each person can share one or two sentences about how they work best. For example, I prefer written instructions because it helps me remember the details. Or I may not reply immediately during class, but I can respond by the evening. This can make communication differences visible before they become big problems. The third tool is using a deadline buffer. If the project is due on Friday, the group should not plan to finish on Friday. A better plan is to finish individual parts by Wednesday night and use Thursday for editing. This reduces stress and gives everyone time to review the final work. The fourth tool is using respectful feedback sentence starters. If you feel uncomfortable giving feedback, you can say, "I like the direction of this part, but could we make the argument clearer?" Or, "Can we check if this part matches the professor's instructions?" These phrases allow you to be honest without sounding rude. The fifth tool is a conflict repair script. If tension already exists, try to bring the conversation back to the project instead of blaming people. You can say, I think we may have different expectations about the timeline. Can we quickly review who is doing each part and when are we planning to finish it? This kind of sentence keeps the tone calm and practical. Group projects are not only about completing an assignment, they also teach students how to work across different communication styles. That can be challenging, but it is also a skill that matters in professional life. For international students, it is always important to remember that speaking up does not mean being disrespectful. Asking for clarity does not mean being difficult. Giving feedback does not mean attacking someone. These are all part of teamwork in many US classroom settings. At the same time, domestic students and group members should also remember that quietness does not always mean laziness. A different communication style does not mean someone does not care. To close this episode, I want to say this. If you have ever felt misunderstood in a group project, you are not alone. Sometimes the problem is not effort. The problem is unclear expectations. The best way to reduce stress is to make expectations visible early. Write down responsibilities, set internal deadlines, ask how people prefer to communicate, give feedback respectfully, repair conflict before it becomes personal. Group projects can be uncomfortable, but they can also become a place where students learn how to communicate across cultures with patience, respect, and honesty. Thank you for listening to this episode of the International Student Wellness Podcast. Remember, communicating differently does not mean you do not belong. It means your voice may enter the conversation in a different way, and that voice still matters.